What is easier to do if you're a woman? Carry anything on your hip. Anytime I carry something heavy and place it on my hip, it's like a part of my instinct awakens. I now feel slightly less insane for having the same feeling, like I heft a laundry basket up onto my hip, and there's some immediate connection with my inner 60-year babushka ancestress carrying an 80-pound bag of horse feed. Yep, noticed myself carrying the giant bag of cat food on my hip as I left the store today. Of course, my hands were full of several bags, my purse, so multitasking, yay. Since I'm already a mom, I know the carrying child on hip feeling well. Can confirm. Use hips to carry bags, children, pets. It's a wonderful addition. Very true about the children. When my niece and nephew were born, and I helped take care of them a lot, my mom and sister would always tell to rest them on my hips. If my arms got tired of holding them, like I don't have wide hips, it doesn't work for me. They just keep sliding down my flat sides, lol. I use mine to support cases of beer when I'm at work. Yep. When I closed for a fast food place, I'd usually be the one to go and pick up traffic cones, signs, etc. We had signs directing traffic with these crazy heavy bases. I tried showing my male coworkers how I picked up the sign. Reach around the base of the pole, lift with your legs, cradle the heavy base to your hip, pull out behind you. They just couldn't do it. They could lift it, yeah, but they just couldn't hold it the way I could. Most ended up just slinging it on their shoulder or dragging it on the floor. One guy hugged it to his chest until he got to the door. Got the job done. But man, do I feel bad for them. When I was a diver, diving board, not scuba, I learned that women have their center of gravity near the waist, which means they can throw twisting dives better. Men have their center of gravity a bit higher, which means they can THRLW flipping somersault dives easier. Survive the NICU. Apparently girls do much better in the NICU than boys do, and tend to have less health complications. We heard that time and time again as parents to a 29-week girl. Hiding sexual arousal. You've never had to belt tuck your clitoris? Not yet. As a guy, I've never tucked it upwards. I didn't even know that was a thing until a year ago. I heard horror stories about guys tucking it upwards only for it to peek out and say hello. Would be true, but my mating call keeps giving me away. Touch your friends. I think a couple of people have interpreted this as groping each other, but I feel like what I really notice in men is that they aren't as comfortable with intimacy. Sitting right up next to each other, thigh to thigh on the couch under a blanket to watch a movie, resting a head on the other person's shoulder, gently moving an eyelash off of someone's face. Holding hands are all practices I've experienced within my platonic relationships with women that I've never generally seen men be comfortable with. Like, yes, smacking each other's butts is whatever, but I think it's kind/gentle physical touch that is lacking. I used to nap with my friends. It makes me sad that men probably don't do this. It was so fun, just sleeping in one bed with your girlfriends, and after you wake up your friend says that you slapped her in the sleep. When I was in high school, I had a lot of female friends and friend groups that were fairly relaxed and chill with casual touch, cuddling and napping together and such. Was really nice. I moved for university and there I found it impossible to form a similar friend group. The men were much more frat-like and the women were on guard and treated any attempt to be friendly as hitting on them or attempting to get laid. I had multiple friends just up and ghost me one day because they decided they either weren't interested in me or they got into a different relationship. Physical contact. If I feel like it, if I need a hug, I can just cuddle with my girls' friends. I don't think it's that easy for guys. Straight facts. Last time I had a hug was a few years ago. Damn, now that I think about it, I haven't had a hug in a few years too. Apparently women fighter pilots handle G-forces better than men, mainly due to being shorter and their heart not having to work so hard to pump blood to their brains. Short men also handle G-forces easier for the same reason. Yep, as a tall guy, 6 feet 4 inches, G-forces F with me big time. In fact, 2 weeks ago I passed out on an especially intense roller coaster. My wife, who was sitting next to me for the ride, cackled with laughter when we saw the on-ride picture, and I was out like a light. That's why you have to squeeze your butt cheeks when you're going down the roller coaster drop. Work with children. As someone who works in early childhood education, I've had the cops called on me 3 times when I took my kiddos to the park. Thankfully I know the beat cop quite well, so it has never caused me any real issues, but the fact that people see adult man point interacting with children and assume I'm a violent predator honestly hurts a lot. My team is all big, burly, heavily tattooed men, but we are all insanely qualified to do our jobs. But that all means nothing to some random Karen who sees scary looking me give piggyback rides or do a girl's braids. I had a bad childhood and just want to care of the little ones. Kindly F off. Ugh, I remember in college people thinking I was a pedo just because I volunteered teaching art at an inner city pre-K over winter break. Haven't really felt comfortable interacting with kids ever since. I got the cops called on me in high school cause I went to the mall with a female friend who was significantly shorter than me. They thought I had kidnapped a little kid. The woman who followed us till the police showed up was shocked when she found out the girl was older than I was. When I was a kid I wanted to do babysitting classes and was ridiculed by teachers, and that kinda hurt too. I have a kid of my own now, but it was literally just a life goal from that point, so I could interact with kids and not be ridiculed. But now I get comments like, you never see men interact with kids as much as you do, man, F off. This is all I want. I don't want to be condescended every time I play with my kid. You know why this is effed up? One of the most revered and trusted people on earth was a man who loved spending time with children. Do you think Fred Rogers would have the police called on him today as well? Probably. This sorta reminds me of the big biker dudes with their tiny dogs, and it's adorable. Help a child without suspicion or judgment. Being around a child in general, I've been questioned when I was out with my son before. Once, I, 30 meters, was on break at my last job, which was near a lake. Lots of families and people walking, hanging out, etc. I was sitting in the grass on my phone relaxing, minding my own business, when this adorable little girl walks up to me. She's maybe like 6, and says, would you like to run with us? Gesturing to her friends nearby. I said no thanks. I'm tired from working, but I'll watch you. But she wouldn't take no for an answer, and they all started running around me. I was stuck in this sticky situation. It melted my heart that she wanted to be my friend, but obviously a grown man playing with strange kids in a park doesn't really fly. But I couldn't explain that to her. I sat there kind of awkwardly, not knowing what to do, when her mom finally walked up. Luckily her mom was really cool and jokingly asked if they were bothering me. I left shortly after and said goodbye. Just glad her dad didn't run over and throw me into the lake for harassing his kid, lol. This is so effing weird to me. I see single/lone dads with their children in public all the time, and it never once hit me as questionable. What the actual F is wrong with people? Or just smiling at a child? Changing babies in public. Many men's rooms do not have baby changing stations. Contrary to popular belief, females are also not allowed to change their babies if they don't like them. I'm afraid you're stuck with the one you got. This took me way too long to get. Sit down on a chair without accidentally sitting on yourself. Too close to home. My long hair would like to disagree with you. Consoling a lost child in public. More to the perception of male threat, no matter how unfounded. My sister and I have different dads. Hers is white and mine is part Hispanic. I've been looking after my nephew when she's at work and stuff, and the amount of dirty looks I get is honestly disgusting. My mom had the same issue with me when I was a small child. We are mixed, but I looked very white. Most people assumed she was the nanny and treated her accordingly. Yo, for real though, had a wacko flip Hirsch on me when I saw a kid tumble into the aisle at the store. Helped the kid up to see if they were okay and see if they needed any help. Effing wackadoodle comes running up asking why I'm touching her kid, and if that's how I get off. I just stood there dumbfounded. Luckily another customer came to my defense, so it didn't escalate, but lady was still screaming about how I was going to abduct her kid, and I was making it cry. Now I just let the kids be, unless of course the kid's in some immediate danger. I hate people on the worse end of that. Being a pedophile. Women are perceived way less as sex offenders, and on the occasion that they are, the whole thing is treated as less severe. 10 is 10 straight to jail. I'm not afraid of getting accidentally hit in my private parts. It can hurt, but not nearly as much as men's, I believe. It's also kinda tricky for someone to punch/kick you in the coochie at the angle needed for it to really hurt. Like I'd almost be impressed. Tell that to my daughter, who ran and headbutted me directly on the pubic bone this morning. Thought I was going to puke.